Hi, Karina here from Muddy Ridge Ranch. Today I'm going to be doing a quick video on how I mix my resin. I've had a lot of new beginners that are not quite sure how it's done. Now, of course, you want to read the instructions on whatever resin you are using because there are differences. Some are a 5-to-1 ratio, a 3-to-1 ratio. Most of what I think all of us use is a 1-to-1. So I'm going to show you my resin and show you how I mix it. So give me a minute to readjust the camera and I'll get back to you. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see. I use Total Boat tabletop epoxy resin. We do woodworking. My husband makes benches and stuff, and found out that this is food grade, so it's perfect for my bottles. So this is what I use. I have tried others, and it turns out that I like this the best. Now, I will tell you, I do use the KS Resin Liquidy Split. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, so I got some and tried it because it does dry faster, which cuts your product time drastically. But now this is just me personally. I don't like it as my only epoxy. I will use this for my glitter coats. After I put my glitter on, I will put this for the first coat over my glitter because it does dry faster, and then I'll switch to my tabletop. This stuff for some reason feels thinner, so it is easier to spread, but even using a scale, trying to mix it other ways, I'm not happy with how this resin works, but I do like it for a cover of my glitter to cut the time in half. So first, you're going to need a digital scale. I highly recommend a digital scale. I got this from Walmart. It was like $15, I believe. Another thing that I've said in my other videos, but if you haven't watched them, you wouldn't hear me say it. A little cup warmer for your coffee cups. This thing is so handy. And of course, you're going to need stir sticks and a cup to put your resin in. I use these disposable cups. I have also bought in the silicone cups. These here are just nicer. I'm done, I toss it out. Don't have to clean the silicone or flip them inside out, you know. Now, my resin is a 1-to-1 ratio, and I mix by milliliters, and you will hear everybody say 10 mLs or 5 mLs, and then you will also hear people say that you cannot use a digital scale. But what I think some of them are forgetting is, well, let's just start. I'm going to show you. I turn the scale on. Do not put your cup on until you turn the scale on. Set your cup down because everything weighs. So see, this is 3 mLs. You hit the same power button that also says tare, T-A-R-E, and it zeroes it out. So it takes the weight of the cup away. So you're starting fresh. Let me backtrack a little. On this digital scale, you'll see a button that says unit. And you're going to hit that and go through until you get what you want. It does grams, pounds, pounds and ounces, and then milliliters is what you want. So that's where you want your scale to be. And for some reason, it must have been my sticky fingers. It's showing that there's weight. So you tear it out. So let's go back. We're going to put the cup on. Hit the tare button to take the weight of the cup away. And then you have part A and part B. Part A is the resin. Part B is the hardener. I always start with the hardener, and I have to do a cup that I need to do a tack coat on. So that's what I'm going to measure for you. And it's also easier if you get these little ketchup or squirt bottles from the Dollar Tree, so you don't have to fight with that big jug. And I'm going to mix 10 mLs of each. So let me lower this so you can see the scale better maybe. Can you see it says 10 mLs? Now before I put the resin in, I'm going to hit that tare button. So now you're only going to be measuring the weight of the resin. And I think that's where people are getting confused. They're like, oh, you can't mix it with that because one's thicker than the other. But when you zero it out, you are just measuring the weight of each one you're doing. So you're going to do 10 of this one also. The other nice thing about these little squeeze bottles is if you go a little over with one or the other, you can easily squeeze some back in. So now we have a total of 20, but your scale wouldn't show that because you tore it out. And we're going to mix it up. Make sure you scrape the sides and the bottom so you get it all mixed in there. Because that's the other problem people have. They don't mix it right, and that can make your coats not dry, can make them tacky. Now, the cup warmer. The reason I have a cup warmer is you get all these little bubbles in your epoxy. If you heat it up just a little bit, and I have to use a measuring tape because this doesn't weigh enough to hold it down. It's a safety feature. You set that on there. Now you don't want to leave it on there because it'll eventually melt through the cup and you'll have a mess. But I'll leave it set here while I get my glove and my other stuff together. And it helps bring the bubbles out of the epoxy. And then by the time I get my glove and everything together, I take it off the heat. So I'll move the camera and I'll show you the next step. Okay, gang, I'm back. It has sat, and now I am going to put this epoxy on this cup. Now this is a 24-ounce tumbler. If I was going to be doing ink or anything else, I would have used more than 10 mLs each for a total of 20. But I'm doing what's called a tack coat because I'm going to be putting glitter on. And see how dry it's kind of looking? But trust me, it will get its way around the cup. You will have plenty. I know people that use less than what I do. But this is what I use. 20 seems to be the magic number for me. Now, I don't use that KS resin for my tack coat because, like I said, there's just something about it. It doesn't like the glitter real well, but to cover the glitter, just to get it like a seal coat, I do like it for that, and that's what I use that for. So we're going to get this all around. And normally I glitter the bottoms too, but I'm going for a different kind of look on this one, so I won't be glittering the bottom, but I'll still put a little epoxy on the bottom. Now this video, because the first half was showing people how to do the resin, so this will be a two-parter. So if you want to come back and see how I complete this, then you'll have to look for part 2.